Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Kirsten and welcome for another adventure in art and crafting. Today's is also a bit of storytelling involved and I'll come to that in a second. I'm going to start though by dealing with this bit of material which I will talk about as we are doing it. Today's prompt I'm going to start by wetting it. Today's prompt in December is recycled fairies. And it might surprise you to hear that whenever anybody mentions fairies, the first thing I think of is my father. Now, he died some years ago now, but he was a great gardener and he had quite a large garden, and he used to tell me stories about the fairies that helped him in his garden. I'm going to rattle now as I shake up Tattered Rose. And as soon as I saw recycled fairies, when I was first looking through the prompt list when it first came out, I thought I'm going to have to do something somehow about Dad, but I really didn't know what I was going to do, and I'm kind of not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but I knew that one of the things I was going to do was I was going to go into my box of stuff which I got when my mother died. She died in 2020, and get out one of these. Now I'm saying one of these because I have several of these. This is scattered straw, and I'm now going to give that, so that's what the rattling is in the background. And what this is one of my father's old handkerchiefs, and he had handkerchiefs. He was a different generation, almost completely. Even for his own generation, he was of a different generation, and he always had a handkerchief. And when his handkerchiefs got a bit tatty, he would transfer them to being gardening handkerchiefs. And this one's certainly a bit tatty. It's got a hole in it somewhere. Oh, there's a hole. I think it's got another hole as well. I think there's more than one hole. So this was a handkerchief that he would have gardened with, that he might have even had in his pocket when he was telling me stories about the fairies helping him in his garden. And he used to grow a lot of vegetables. Oh, this one is tumbled glass. He used to grow a lot of vegetables, and he would grow, also he had flower beds as well, but he used to grow enough vegetables that my mother didn't need to buy vegetables for the whole of the winter and for most of the summer and part of the spring, because I'm trying to make this one a bit more spatty. So I thought what I would do, I'm getting quite emotional here, I need to kind of just stop talking and start doing, as my father would say. I thought what I would do is I would take one of his handkerchiefs, because I don't use them a lot. I kind of wait until there's something that says to me, this is the time to be using one, Kirsten. And I've already sprayed some water on this, but I think I might spray a little more. I don't want to make it too wet because I want it to, I think I'm just going to give it a little spray more. And I'm going to use this handkerchief in today's prompt because it's recycled fairies, and I'm recycling memories of my dad. I'm recycling something that was his. I'm going to pause there. Right, I'm back. I might have to pause this video several times because it will bring back memories of my dad, and that's fine. that's fine. I've chosen to do this and I'm okay with that, but it just means it might take a longer time to do. The recycle bit, I thought I would recycle some of the stuff I'd already printed out and not used. Okay, I've used her several times, but I printed her out several times, and I'm going to use her as my fairy, but I'm not going to use all of it. I'm just going to use that bit because I don't want her sitting again. And this time I'm going to use that bit, and I'm going to give her a lovely floaty skirt out of my dad's handkerchief, and because he always used to say they had lovely floaty skirts on. So that's what that's going to do. I might or might not use the tag. Probably won't. I haven't thought about what I'm going to do in the background yet. I keep on changing my mind. I have thought, but I keep on changing my mind. It's on the back of polka dots and plaid and polka dots, because I ended up, of course, using a spine dangle for Nature's Treasures. So that's that. And then I'm recycling this from 49 Dragonflies from Barbara. Going to use one of these as her wings. Now, I think Barbara used this for wings and clocks and wings, because she used the big dragonfly for the butterfly and three-tone things. So yes, this was for clocks and wings, and she had them sitting on clocks down her belly band. But I didn't use this because I'd already done mine, but I printed it off anyway because it was a freebie, and you know, and I don't know how long it'll sit there, but it's not going to sit there. It's going to be recycled and used for her wings. And then I printed out these are from Luise's paid December Ember, and this one here and this one here reminded me very much of when my father used to talk about the fairies, that they lived in toadstool houses and the fairy rings, and that some of them used to go up and live in the trees when the birds were out, because sometimes the birds might think that there's something tasty. And so I think I'm going to use this and this tag. Maybe not as tags, I maybe fussy cut it out and just use it as something down the bottom of my page, so it gives the idea of her flying, which it just reminded me, I know what I will do. Let me get this out, and somewhere here I've got, nope, is that it? Yes, I've got this bit left over. This was from one of the freebies for posting our swaps, our scrap swaps, and I used this for the other half of this page, for the contents page of the Saga of the Great Effie. Now you can see I print on the wrong pace first time I put it through, so but that could be covered up by a wing, and this could be covered up, sorry Effie, you're getting covered up because you're not a fairy. This could be covered up by this mushroom, and I could cover up, is this big enough for, it is if I do it that way. We've got that bit up the top. I don't think that matters greatly, and we could also print something over, could stamp something over it if I decide it's an issue. Certainly it's a bit of recycling, and it gives a blue background as if she's flying with the bits down the bottom. This is the issue, but then maybe I could just put the prompt in there and use that as a title. So let's keep that as well as another recycled thing that we're going to do to make recycled fairy. Well, here we go. We've got her set out. I've cut out all the bits. This isn't attached yet. I had to cut out far more of these tags than I expected, just to cover up all this underneath. It's not stuck down yet, but that works well. That's like a wee forest, and my dad used to talk about the fairy forests of mushrooms where they built their houses, because they used to, certain times of year they would come up all in the grass, and he would go, "There's those fairies at it again." So that's fine. And then there'd be the fairies that were up in the trees, and he used to talk about the fairies up in the trees whenever he was digging and turning over the soil, and the worms used to come out, and I didn't like worms, and he would say, "That's okay, because the birds will come and eat the worms, and that means they'll leave the fairies alone, so the fairies in the trees can come down and they can help us, because they know that the birds are going to be busy catching the worms, and we'll leave them alone." So it all kind of reminds me of my dad. And here we have our little recycled fairy coming down from the tree, because it's safe to do so, and we've got her at that angle to hide the but also to give that effect of flying, and her skirt will kind of come down here. I've left all this bit on because it just gives me more space to attach the skirt to, and I need to think about what I might do with this strip down here. I'm not so concerned about that, but this I am kind of concerned about, so I need to have a think about what I might do with that. There was a mushroom, a big mushroom here, it's here, that I cut out, was going to use as a tag, and I actually trimmed it, and I've got a little trimming here which I suppose is a recycled bit, but part of me says, well, that's quite good, because it's, at least it's another mushroom, but it doesn't really go with what's happening there. But it would be roughly where the holes were going to be, so it might just look like it's part of hole reinforcement. So I might just go with that, though I haven't 100% decided. There must have been a bit off the other side of that as well, because I had to trim it. Oh, that's just got the paper. That was going to be for the tag for the other side, which I ended up deciding not to do until I'd got my coat. Anyway, I'm going to go and stick down these bits that can be stuck down. I need to wait till the hanky's dried before I can do the rest. I'm going to emboss these wings, and I'll be back when that's all done. So I think that worked. I did a little experiment. Somebody, and I can't remember who it was, had holographic embossing glaze, and I don't, and I have ordered some, but it's not going to arrive till after Christmas, so I wasn't going to wait. So what I did was I put clear glitter, you know, the white clear glitter stuff, on frosty, use on, and then glazed over the top of it. So I think that that's quite special. That makes them less like butterfly wings and more like fairy wings, but still keeps them, that you can see it's recycled. Okay, so the hanky is now dried. It does have a bit of pink, which you can't really see. I don't know if maybe that colour making me doesn't show up very well on the screen I'm looking at, but it's there. We've got a nice subtle mix of these colours, but I'm now going to stamp on it, and I think I'm going to use gold, although I'm tempted to, just because it's a fairy, you see. And I'm going to use this stamp here, and this is from Floral Tattoos CMS 059. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to do it in sections, starting from roughly the middle, which is roughly there. I'm just going to press it down and go round. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Now, you know I like a double stamp, but in this instance I don't want a double stamp, because I want it to be nice and clear the whole way around. I'm going to put that in again here. No, it doesn't actually. It's not going to match, but because it's fabric, that doesn't matter because it's not going to. One there and one there. And I think that'll do it. One there and one there, and that's a nice sweep for a skirt. Now I really need to get this gold ink. I need to decide whether I'm going to do it as a fold over or just as that one. Let's have a look. We need to give it a chance to dry. That's going to be fabulous. That's going to be fabulous. Let's give this a clean and I'll be back. Editing Kirsten here. I was way too emotional when I was doing this final shot, so I'm doing a voiceover over it. She's finished. I tore strips to give the skirt a kind of raggedy look, and I ended up actually making it into a dress rather than just a skirt. And then I put for my dad, never forgotten, at the top. And I'm really pleased with it. Really pleased with it. Take care. Thank you for watching and keep crafting. Bye for now.